Hey everyone, welcome to the new Tuesday spot. Sorry if my voice sounds a little hoarse. I'm suffering from a sore throat over the weekend, and yeah, seems to be getting worse every day. I figured I'd just do a quick recording for y'all, and basically, because the book that is being reviewed today is definitely worth the effort and the time, and it is actually Stephanie Collins's With Angel's Wings. And it's a very, very good book. I couldn't put it down. It's basically a bio story of a lot of the struggles that the author dealt with going through having a daughter that was born with health issues, and very uncertain on, as everything progressed, whether she would survive the situation and the health issues. And along with that, she dealt with a lot of unsupportiveness from her husband at the time. And I'll get, with any bio story, the character's plot and arc, it's pretty much set, because everything has happened. One thing I really loved about the writing style with it, though, was Stephanie added internal dialogue amid the different narration of the story, in different times when she would go through, a situation that had been dealt with, and as scenarios came up, she would write the internal dialogue of what she was thinking at the time. And it was, the story, all in all, was very inspiring, very harrowing. I definitely highly recommend it. It is a very, very good read. And it's one of those where you read for a while and it's like, how long have I been reading? You look down at the clock, it's been like an hour and a half, and you're like 30 to 40 pages further. So yeah, it was a very, very good story. And one of the things it dealt with a lot was depression as well. Of course, anybody that goes through a massively trying experience, as she went through, it's going to be, hand in hand. You're going to have those doubts. You're going to have basically thoughts that, you're not living up to what you should be. Even though it's definitely not the case. She stuck through everything. And it's definitely one of those stories where you're rooting for the character the entire time. You're pulling for a positive outcome on whatever happens throughout the story. You're pushing for that positive outcome. And I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to give away any spoilers for anybody that hasn't read the book. But I will say definitely pick it up. Make it a priority on your must-read list because it is a very, very good story. As I said a few minutes ago. Sorry, I'm still a kid. Kind of not crazy, but just trying to find the right words with, the back of my throat feeling like sandpaper. But yeah, for anybody suffering from depression, definitely speak up. Don't keep it to yourself, because the more you keep it to yourself, the more doubts you have, and the deeper you sink into that depression. And the best thing is to vent. Even if it's to a family member, a friend, if you're involved in the church, your clergy, and even some of the self-help numbers. If there's a hotline you could call, just to vent to somebody, definitely do it. It's not worth. It's not worth the self-destruction of it. And not just that, it's when somebody suffers from depression, especially when they're in a relationship, and even just around other people, it starts to affect the people that care about you. You know, it's not just you that suffers from those negative thoughts and feelings. It's those that, you know, are around you, that love you, that see you going through that very self-destructive time. But you know, it's definitely one where you definitely want to get help. If you don't, you become so blinded to the possibilities and what could be ahead. You know, of growing up, you know, I was told for years, you know, and even struggling with it severely myself. You know, it's a permanent solution for a temporary problem. You know, and it's definitely not the answer. I mean, there's other ways around, you know, getting out of a situation or bearing through it. You know, it's not just, you know, having to say, well, I've got to get through it, you know, and I can handle it on my own. And that's where I believe a lot of people have issues with depression and not venting to somebody and getting help for it sooner, is the mental thought saying, I can control it, I can deal with it. And it's definitely one of those beasts that it's very quick to get into deep, you know. A lot of the time, if those thoughts are starting to manifest and surface, it's definitely a good time to get help, or at least vent, you know. And unfortunately, it's not a thing that just goes away. I mean, once you get really depressed and you suffer from it, it's very easy to get back in that role, or to get back in that mental mindset where, you know, every once in a while you're going to be depressed. You're going to have bad days that you just feel defeated, you feel deflated. But as long as you're breathing, as long as you're still waking up every morning, you know, things could turn around in a minute, even a second. But it's definitely something you have to push through, because there are better times ahead. You just have to struggle through the hard times. And yeah, life's never easy. You know, it never is for anybody. But you just have to, you know, like I said in the last video, is you just have to focus on the happy times, you know, and especially when you're struggling with depression, is you have to focus on those positive times, those happy times, to get you through the quicksand that is depression. Because if you don't get a grasp on it and try to stay focused, it will suck you down before you realize it. So yeah, that is it for today. I'll be leaving a link to Stephanie's book on Amazon, as well as the social media page, at least on Twitter for her. I'll also be posting a Goodreads review blog over the book and linking this video to it. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button below to get notifications of any updates to the vlog and anything else. So thank you, and I hope to see you on Thursday.